In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about support and resistance. Let's go. I hope you're excited as much as I am, because this is going to be such a fun lesson. If you don't know about support and resistance, well, I'm glad you're watching, because it's going to be such an important tool that you're going to use every single day. Every chart you use, every time frame you use, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to apply these to your charts and start breaking them down and understand what you're looking at a little bit better. Now remember, I'm using Thinkorswim platform. It's my favorite platform. However, you do not have to use Thinkorswim. Use whatever charting software you enjoy. The basics are the same. But first, the market is made out of two types of actions: your buyers and your sellers. When more buyers comes in, that's what drives the price up. When more sellers comes in, that's what drives the price down. And when there's pretty much a equal balance between the two, that is what we have consolidation. With these price movements, we're able to draw trend lines to help better predict what the price is going to be doing in the future. Now remember, all of this is predictions. Nothing is 100% certain with trading. So you want to have a better edge when you're investing your own money. And with doing this, we're able to find areas that are holding support for better deals and find areas to sell to take our profits. Now first, we have two different types of support and resistance. We have static and dynamic. I have never heard anyone else really use these terms when it comes to support and resistance, so it might just be me, but they're very important and a little bit different. Before we start, hit that subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, hit that bell so you can be notified when I post new videos. So typically I use a 4-hour time frame when I'm looking for longer term trends. So peaks are perfect for resistances and dips is perfect for supports. We're gonna put them on the peaks and the dips of the chart. So first we're gonna left click and go to add drawing and come up here to this price icon. Then we're gonna click where we want it and it will automatically draw a price. We're gonna do this a few times here because peaks are excellent resistance points. Let's fast forward a little bit. We'll put one right up here, right here, and fast forward a little bit more. Put one right here and at the top and right here. So now one thing with support and resistance is that old supports can become new resistances and old resistances can become new supports. So when I zoom out here, we can see that the lines that we made about 6 months prior is coming into effect now, especially in these points right here, in here, in here. You can see where it peaked up here and came back here. The lines that we drew was back in September, and look how they come into play now. There was a big sell-off about a month ago, and it came all the way down to these levels, and they started testing them if they want to hold. Now let's go to ENPH. I'm gonna go ahead and mark right up here on the top, right here on a dip, down here at the other dip, right here at the top, and you can see how the price was moving in between these. So if you would have bought in this general area here, you could expect that it to go up to this one here. Now again, nothing is 100% certain. And before you buy, you always have to confirm that the price is going in that direction. As you can see here, it sold off to that previous support, but it did not hold. Once it started holding back at that old support line, what happened? It came right back up to this previous resistance. And if we zoom out here, look where it came down to. Support level that we drew back all the way in September. After it pushed, you can see that it came back down to a support level again that we drew back in September. This is why support and resistances are very important. Now remember, we do not buy at the support unless it's giving us a confirmation that it's going to hold and go up. But this is how you draw support and resistance on the price line. Now let's move to the support and resistance on a diagonal line. Now, if you remember back in the last video of when we were setting up the Thinkorswim platform, I had to change the little arrow on the bottom to the trend line. And that is because you will be drawing a lot of trend lines. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to this area here. Let's go ahead and start connecting some points together. Now remember, we always want to have at least 2 points connected to make it a valid trend line. So we're going to go ahead and click here, and you can see here is a trend line that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that it came and touched. Then we can also draw a trend line up here, down here. Let's zoom out. Now, once it broke this resistance level here, it actually started to uptrend. And we can go ahead and start adding some trend lines here. Again, you see how all of these are starting to touch multiple times? So during this trend here, you're going to want to buy on the support. Support is where we buy for the best deal and for the best risk management. Here we can draw another channel. We're gonna go ahead and draw one here. Let me zoom in, and now you can see why it's important to buy on supports and where the resistance is at. If you were to have bought in this area here, it would have started selling off and you wouldn't have made any money. But now that it broke, you can see that it's coming back and it's trying to hold this support level. If it holds the support level and starts to push, this is what we call a pullback confirmation. We want to see it break a resistance and come back to test to see if it's going to hold as a valid support. Now remember, because old resistances can become new supports. Tesla has a wild ride lately, but it's all right. We're just going to focus on certain areas for now so we can see how to draw these trend lines in. We can go ahead and start drawing this point here and here. And you can see where it kept getting rejected and rejected, and then later on rejected and rejected. And then later, after it pushed, what happened? It came back and it held that level as a new support, and it started to push a little bit. Now it didn't live long and it did end up selling off. But this is a pullback confirmation. So over here, let's draw a support line and see what we have going on. I'm gonna click it down here, bring it right up here. And here's our resistance. As you can see, right now, it's more towards the support line. This is gonna be a better buy than if it was up here on the resistance. If this starts to push, I wouldn't be surprised to see that it makes it move all the way up here to this red line. And those were examples of horizontal trend line. Now we're gonna move over to what we call a dynamic trend line. A dynamic trend line is a line that we do not draw in ourselves. It is drawn in by the computer with indicators that we have. Now, if you remember in that last video, I had you set up the simple moving average of 90. 90 is my favorite moving average because it does hold a lot of support and resistance with this indicator. So I have TQQQ pulled up, and you can see right here, 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 and here, where it came back and it held that support. So this is a dynamic support. If we go back to earlier to ENPH where we drew in the price line support, let me zoom into this area here, and you can see here, here, and here where it held that support line very well on that moving average. If we move a little bit farther on ENPH, we can see how bad it got rejected right here on this dynamic resistance. Now you know the difference between a horizontal trend line and a diagonal trend line when it comes to static trends. Now you know the support and resistance when it comes to dynamic trend lines. And one last quick example of a horizontal trend line and how the past really helped out predicting the future. Where I had two resistances at these two peaks and we extend that line all the way to the right. Look what happened around March. There was an aggressive sell-off, but it found support on that old resistance. Again, this is a perfect example of how the past definitely affects the future and how to find support and resistances on a chart. Now this is all great and all for long term, but what about the short term trends intraday? It still applies here. So let me go ahead and pull up Facebook and we can start marking this and see what we get. Now the pre-market hours and aftermarket hours is going to be the gray shaded area. We can draw a price line trend right here at the top of this pre-market hour. So I'm going to go ahead and do so right now. Now you can see as the day played out that it came up and it tested this many times and it kept getting rejected. But where was the support at? On this magenta line. That's our dynamic support. Then it started getting squeezed between the two. The price had to go somewhere, and in this case, the price went up. So once it broke it, look what happened. It started moving up pretty quick. Now I got Tesla pulled up, and we can do the same thing here. Let's go ahead and mark our pre-market highs. You can see right here and right here where it got rejected. Is this a coincidence? No, it's not. We can go ahead and draw a diagonal line to find our support. Pretty much like Facebook, it got into a squeeze. And as it started coming together, it had to go somewhere. And again, in this case, it pushed up. If we go ahead and take the market high and we connect this previous high here and extend it, look where the price ended up going, almost up to that resistance point. This is a perfect example on how we can use this tool to help predict where the price is going to move next. It's going to take practice to get used to understanding, and I want you to go ahead and start pulling up different charts and start marking them. Start putting those horizontal lines and those diagonal lines so you can see how it works out for you. But remember, we always want the best deal, and that's going to be around the support lines. We don't ever want to buy at the resistance. I hope today I helped you understand a little bit more about trend lines, and I hope I taught you how to find better deals and where to enter and exit. Remember, I am not a financial advisor. I am just somebody that has spent so much time on the computer. I just want to educate all the new beginner traders and guide them in the right direction. I don't ever want to influence you on how you trade. I just want to educate you so you can make your own decisions and become an alpha bull. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and that bell for me. All of you have a fantastic day.